Hey my dudes, how's it hanging? It's your boy ZNF1 here. The veil has been lifted on all this crap around Corona and natural immunity and how viable it's been. It's been going on for a minute, but mainstream medias have not been covering this. Today's video, we talk about this, but before we go on and get into this though, let's cue intro. Now, I feel like I need to express this very clearly. I'm not against vaccines. I personally don't get them a lot now for certain things because of spiritual beliefs I've participated in learning about, and just like ancient teachings that, you know, say and show that a lot of the things out there you don't really need to worry about because you trust in yourself, eat decently healthy, you know, you have natural immunity built up for that sort of stuff. However, though, there are instances where it is very understandable and reasonable to get a vaccine. I will never deny that. In cases of, like, you know, flu, like, that's fine. Or, like, if they ever have one for, like, HIV, STDs, etc., where it makes you immune to the stuff, yeah, by all means. I definitely would be down for that. Because that shit fucking sucks. But not always necessary, though, in a lot of situations. And a lot of science out there can actually prove that, too. It's all just a matter of dieting and, like, the energy and thoughts that you feed your brain. Because a lot of people that are more negative and pessimistic, studies have shown, are actually more likely to get sick. And you can look that up, too. Because think about it. You're negative all the time. What do you think? You're going to attract negative things. So I feel like it just needs to be addressed. I'm not against vaccines. I'm A-okay if you yourself want to get that, but me personally and many other people, we don't always feel the need to get them all the time, and some not even at all. And that's because of their beliefs, you know, and they should be able to have that regardless. All of us should. Now, natural immunity has always been a viable option when it comes to COVID-19. Just like any other illness. The reason why that is simply because people have developed antibodies, and there's studies that have proven it, to fight against the COVID infection. But any other time prior to, you know, all this stuff, you would be censored, blocked, taken down, shadow banned, etc. if you express any form of belief or like support of natural immunity and discussing it on social media platforms, etc. You'd even get slandered and hated on by people as well too. But now a lot of these articles that have been done over the past 2 years and prior to COVID breaking out here in the United States have been starting to rise to the surface, showing that natural immunity has always been very viable. There have been significant outbreaks of COVID amongst people that are vaccinated compared to those that aren't. Over the past few years, there have been more of these reports, studies, journalism pieces highlighting the fact that this has been a thing that are starting to rise more and more to the surface now, or ones on the fact that natural immunity has always been very viable since the beginning. In fact, there have actually been cases where there are areas or places like a Caribbean cruise line which have had 100% vaccinated and up-to-date people and workers that have ultimately ended up with massive outbreaks of COVID, especially more recently with the Delta and the Omicron variants. There have been 2 cruise lines in the past 6 months that have had 100% up-to-date and vaccinated people all on them that end up having massive fucking outbreaks of this virus. There was even a case of where a college town had like 10 to 30 people on the whole campus that weren't vaccinated that didn't catch COVID. Meanwhile, the majority of everybody else that was fully vaccinated and up to date on boosters, etc., actually caught COVID. It's kind of weird, don't you think? You'd think that people that have the good old jab would be less likely, correct? Based on what the mainstream media and the governments of the world have been portraying, correct? But wow, that's not what's been happening here at all. Now, we have companies and bodies in the government, like the CDC and Pfizer, admitting that during the initial outbreak of COVID here in the United States, that those who did not get vaccinated and had caught COVID or been exposed to it were 2 times less likely to contract the virus than those that had gotten a jab but had no antibodies previously. Also, I feel like it's very important to mention that you were actually 3 times less likely to contract COVID if you had natural antibodies and received 1 dose of the vaccine. No boosters. But, if you agreed any bit about, having natural immunity or openly discussed that, you were a conspiracy theorist. Despite all of this, plus the significant amount of evidence provided by professional healthcare workers / scientists, it was nearly impossible to have natural immunity according to mainstream media and people like Anthony Fauci, the CDC, etc. when all this happened. And if you were ever to discuss that, you'd be a conspiracy nut. Oh, let me get my tinfoil hat real quick because I'm just an absolute fucking loony bin. Ooh. According to a study at Gothenburg University, researchers examined 150 healthy healthcare workers in 5 different places around that area before COVID-19 jabs were available. What they found was 53 of those people had developed antibodies. Then 97 of those people that they had researched did not develop any antibodies, and 16 of them in total contracted COVID, but none of them were ever hospitalized for it. Well, why, that's barely any. Damn, and none of them were hospitalized. Huh. Maybe it's been a little over-dramatized a little bit, and people's immune systems are fairly strong, actually, whenever, they eat right and get plenty of vitamins and nutrients in their bodies instead of just shoveling a bunch of shit in it. No. Oh, no. That's not a thing. That's never been a thing. You can get sick no matter how healthy you eat. In addition to this, the 6-month study found out that none of those people that contracted COVID actually were hospitalized. Wow, that's actually great. Now, only individuals with IgG responses developed T-cell responses to SARS-CoV-2. IgG responsiveness was associated with SARS-CoV-2, PCR positivity, and self-reported typical COVID-19 symptoms. In contrast, IgA responsiveness was associated with limited T-cell responses to SARS-CoV-2, autoimmunity, airborne allergy, and not contracting COVID-19. A lot of COVID-related research has been about IgG antibodies and T-cells. The interesting thing is that when we now examine other people's articles and tables, we find evidence for the conclusion we've arrived at about IgA ourselves. But it's not something those studies have highlighted. Basically, what that summarizes up to is that people have always had the natural ability to gain antibodies and immunity to this virus, in addition to also being able to do that without actually contracting COVID-19 as well, too. Then other people and researchers, scientists, etc., didn't highlight these details. It's a very important detail, don't you think? The fact that people could naturally gain immunity to it, even without fucking actually catching it. Oh, wow. No, that's not important at all. You just need to get a good old jab in you, and the 4 fucking boosters, or shit, actually, no, 10 boosters, and you'll be fucking great. Why would they do that, though? Could it be to, I don't know, potentially promote a certain agenda or enable it? I don't know. Kind of funny, isn't it? The mainstream media plus the system have told us the only way to gain any sort of immunity to this virus has been to stay home, stay away from anybody that you love, or don't have human interaction with people, and isolate yourself, and get this fucking jab plus the 10 other boosters, in order to be able to have any sort of fucking resistance to it, even slightly. Then, we had to reach the whole herd immunity in order to end this whole pandemic in the US. But yet here we are having over that fucking percentage of 70%, and things still haven't ended. You have to get a fourth booster in order for this to end now. It's almost kind of like, it's being done for profits at this point, or seems like it at least, right? This is still continuing despite many health professionals saying that natural tolerance to COVID-19 could/would happen. In addition to people like Anthony Fauci, CDC, Pfizer, etc., mainstream sources admitting that this stuff was actually viable at the start of this whole outbreak. What? You mean it was always viable, and all these people that have been saying this for the longest time after, following logic and science weren't crazy or conspiracy theorists at all? It's almost like, they're using that as a way to slander people and to, make people think that they were crazy. The narrative's changing now, you guys, and it's getting harder for them to actually hide this stuff from us. But what's going on right now that, has all the mainstream media's attention? Again, if you were to even vaguely discuss this or express belief, you were censored, banned, demonized, and heavily faced rhetoric/hate. But despite the promise of this plus these emergency extensions of powers ending, they're just starting to slowly and quietly roll the truth out. In addition to keeping these powers, much like what happened with 9/11. But no, we shouldn't focus on that rolling out at all.
Shut up, Malfoy. Demental!
Now, in addition to all this censorship and hate for anybody that, supported natural immunity or anything else, there have also been a significant amount of laws or bills passed that have punished people and taken away their free speech rights, in addition to punishing them for being against taking or getting these experimental vaccines. Much like this California bill that was passed. Now, that's just really fucked up, isn't it? We have to remember that often times like these are used to boost conglomerate businesses and career politicians' profits. It's kind of hard to deny this evidence now with all the paper and money trails that are out there. And remember, oftentimes where these emergency powers are given or granted by these people in power themselves, it generally is a means to extend their control over the people that they're ruling. And that can be a group or an individual in themselves just trying to, expand their power and the extent of their reach and control on their people. This has been done multiple times throughout our human history in events like the Holocaust and even 9/11, which we kind of touched based on the one around 9/11 and the extension of those emergency powers in previous videos, and which happened to involve, Edward Snowden and the breach on our human rights by the NSA and other intelligence communities that happen on a daily basis. But we just often see it as normal because, that's just how it is now. The US plus other world governments have used these past few years as a means to expand their power. The ones that they have acquired will stick around for several years to even decades if more of us do not awaken to the spell of the system and break free of it. That's enough about what I think, though. What do you guys think, the glorious members of my tribe, new viewers, fans, etc., about this whole situation where natural immunity is finally being proven to have always been viable to begin with? And people like Anthony Fauci, the CDC, Pfizer, etc., finally admitting that it was always a possibility and that it actually was very viable to begin with when all this started to break out more. Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you guys did make it to the end of this video, go on it and leave the comment natural in the section below to let me know that you guys are part of the 100% club. That's gonna be it for us today, my dudes. If you guys did enjoy, as usual, please don't forget to, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Really does mean a lot to me whenever you guys do this and helps to show me what you're enjoying that I'm putting out there for you. Until next time, though, please don't forget to, live long and prosper, take care and peace, and keep it 1,000,000% real. I'll see you guys on the flip side.